let me just say this. I want us to be really proactive in how we choose and pick leaders. So the anointing piece, all that stuff. But for us in our environment, let me just say what most churches, most is hard. What I see some churches not do well, they don't, and I'm not trying to give a diversity message. I just want to be really honest. Most of the time, churches pick leaders based off of trust. And so you have to begin, if you're going to manage leaders, you have to begin to put people in your bag, so to speak, that you're going to pull from. That if you want diversity in your environment, if you want to choose people that don't look like you, you're going to have to begin to raise up and grow people that obviously don't look like you and think differently than you. So traditionally, why we have a ton of, I'm not trying to create a fight, but why we have a ton of guy leaders in church, for example, is for good reason. Guy leaders raise up other guy leaders. That's not, whether or not you have you think it's only should be men in ministry, which I probably don't think anybody thinks that in here, but traditionally, guy leaders raise up guy leaders because why? It's safe, it's comfortable, it works, and it really does. The problem is when you reach into your bag to pull out other leaders, and you're a guy leader, you're going to have a 95% chance of pulling out another guy because you haven't invested in other people. So I'll just end with this. I think it's very important as leaders, whether you're a man or a woman. In my early days, Benny, she just poured her life into me, right? She was the first real leader in my life, and she was a woman. I think it's vital. Obviously, be safe, don't be an idiot, have good boundaries, all of those things. But it is very important to me, especially because we're trying to do life like family. It would be unrealistic for me to have kids and tell my sons, you can only talk to me, don't talk to your mom.
Yeah, come on.
And it would be crazy if my daughter goes, you have your mom, you have access to your mom, but nope, you can't hang out with me.
Yeah,
you can't do that. If you're going to raise up people, we're going to change the dynamic of the church, you have to, as men and as women, go, I'm going to potentially, on purpose, pick somebody who doesn't have the same parts I have so that I can create the dynamic that I really want. Obviously, good boundaries, all of that stuff. I hope you hear my heart. But we have to do that, not just that, but to be fair, we have to do it. If you want diversity in your church, you have to begin to grow leaders that way. You have to, on purpose, pick those kind of people to develop. We want God on them. We want the anointing on them. We want all of that stuff to be true. But there's a reason. So I have interns, right? There's one of my interns. There's Gracie. Raise your hand, Grace. There's Grace, right? She's a beautiful young woman. Congratulations, she's beautiful. That's good. Thank your parents, I guess, for that. But we pick a woman on purpose because of what we're trying to do in her life. So when Grace is 30, well, she comes from a great family anyway, but when Grace is 30, she's not running into potentially similar problems because the tension that we have, and this is a battle that I'm trying to work through in some places, and this is my own little soapbox potentially. But traditionally, and this isn't a woman in ministry message, but traditionally, if we talk about women leaders in most churches, because of what we found in school. So let me just say, here's what we found in school. We give out an award called the Emerald Johnson Award at the end of the year. It's to our top students. It's 2 people from each revival group get nominated, and a man and a woman win. But the nominations, I leave open. So if you're a revival group pastor, in my world, you can pick a man or a woman. Doesn't matter. You can pick 2 men, 2 women. I leave it open. Traditionally, what we have in our environment, out of as many students as we have, is we'll have 60% men get nominated and 40% women get nominated. And that's an honest assessment from our pastors of who is a better leader, a better student. Here's the tension. Our school is flipped. Our school is a 60% women's school and a 40% man school. And I can't pull, if all things being equal, I should pull 60% women and 40% men, right? It's not equal. What we're finding is it's not equal, not because women are not as good leaders, but because they don't get the reps. So I have students coming in their mid-20s who have been leaders, who've been grown, who've been developed by other people. But those other people traditionally are men. And I have phenomenal women. When we ask, what kind of ministry have you done? It's children's ministry, little youth ministry, women's ministry, and I can run a home group. But I have 28-year-old guys that are like, oh no, I'm on the streets, I'm developing stuff, my senior pastor loves me, I'm working through that. And if I ask most women, how many senior pastors have laid down their life and kind of been groomed and taken that journey up the mountain with a woman, the answer is almost 0. What I'm not saying is we should have a bunch of senior pastors hanging out with women. So hear my heart, right? I'm not saying that. But if you're going to lead people, if you're a man or a woman, your job is to lead people, to develop people as a whole. And you have to manage that better. Otherwise, you're going to have groups where, as a guy, you only feel comfortable with guys. And as a woman, you only feel comfortable with women. And what I'm saying is I want us to lead a generation of people where the church feels like family. Yeah, that's good. Right? Where, like Jesus, you can hang out with women, even at your feet at some level, and not feel weird about it. But to be fair, sometimes it's still weird for me. I joke with them. I got, that's Jessa. Jessa's my PA. She's awesome. She's married. Great husband. I love him, just FYI. But sometimes I'll take I have 3 interns girls in my truck going somewhere. It'll be 3 girls and Jessa. I feel weird. Super weird. I just want to be honest with you. I'm like, somebody's got to get out of this truck. Because I just feel weird, right? Am I doing anything wrong? No. Right? They all know my wife. They love my wife. Nothing wrong. Sometimes it feels weird. I do think, not just to push through sake, but there is something passionate in me about this. We have to begin to push through the weirdness to create the environments we want to create, right? So that we can, as fathers and as mothers, go, I'm actually raising sons and daughters, both, no matter what. That I'm raising a church that looks like kingdom, what that looks like.